Well, welcome back inside the Mass Premier Courts here in Foxborough, Massachusetts, alongside Christina Battistini and our entire Cox Sports crew. I'm Mike Rubin, and we've got a matchup of blue and white out here. The Middlesex Magic and the Mass Premier Elite, and we'll get ourselves a look at the starting lineups. They're about to tip this one up in just a second. We'll start with the Middlesex Magic. They're wearing all blue with white numerals and white trim. Looks like it's Sam Casey, Aiden James, Andre Ruff, Adam Quinlan, and Phil Liostakos. For head coach Chris Giordano, himself a graduate of the Middlesex Magic program, and the head coach now in his third season also at Riviere College. So basketball lifer is Coach Giordano, to say the least. And they'll tip it up, and we are underway. Coming down with the ball is Rocky DeAndrade. Swings it off to Timothy Walsh. Three-pointer on the way is no good. Rebound hauled in by Adam Quinlan, and Middlesex will work back up. They're working the ball right to left. Mass Premier Elites starters, we'll run them down in just a second. Scott Arsenal defending against Sam Casey running the point. He'll drop it off for Aiden James. Also on the court, Timothy Walsh, as the jumper is up and good. Three-pointer for Sam Casey. Middlesex takes an early 3-0 lead.
That's the one thing that was said about these two teams prior to this game, is that they don't play typical AAU basketball. And what I mean by that is that these teams really like to pass the basketball. They make the extra pass. They look to shoot from the outside, when frequently in this tournament, like basketball, you see a lot of drives to the basket, a lot of one-on-one play. But I think today in this game, we're going to see a lot of team play.
So Mass Premier Elite, they've got Rocky DeAndrade, Scott Arsenal, Timothy Walsh, Kevin Connor. Jump shot from the corner is up and good, and an early 5-0 lead right off the bat for the Middlesex Magic. They're coming into the game at a 7-2 record, and ball dished. Connor goes to the glass, can't get it to fall. Ball batted around a bit by Adam Quinlan. Neglected to mention Jimmy Lehman, the last of the starting five for the Mass Premier, who come up with the steal. They tried to go underneath the Connor. Ball bounces around. It'll be brought back down by Walsh. They'll swing it around. Lehman jump shot on the way, no good. Rebound hauled in by Liostakos, and still 5-0 Mass Premier trailing Middlesex. Liostakos, well, look at it. A half-court violation, I think. I don't think he got it over in time. 5-second rule in effect. Yep, that is the call, and will be a second turnover early on. One aside, I should say. With the ball that Connor plays his high school ball locally right down the road at Mansfield High School. A couple of Mansfield products for Mass Premier Elite. Back outside, Lehman drives, gets to the corner of the paint, back out for Walsh. Walsh drives in, interior, bounces it back out for Lehman. They'll swing it out for Arsenal. His front rim no good. Lehman trying to track down the rebound, but he was out of bounds. Mass Premier Elite, pretty locally driven side. You got DeAndrade out of Mansfield, Lehman's out of King Philip, Arsenal from Walpole, Timothy Walsh, Attleboro, and Connor also from Mansfield from their starting five.
And their head coach, Mike Vaughn, is the varsity boys coach at Mansfield High School. Led his team this last year to the state championship game, ended up losing in overtime by only 2 points. But you'll see the point guard from Mansfield High School bringing the ball up right now. That's Rocky DeAndrade, number 3.
Finds Arsenal, the early hole for the Mass Premier squad. They're down 7-0. Lehman almost threw it away. Back over, jumper on the way from Timothy Walsh, no good. Good inside presence from Scott Arsenal. Ed Santarpio on the offensive glass, and he's going to go to the free throw line. He'll be shooting a pair. Tapio had just checked in for Connor that last turn after the turnover. So he'll be shooting a pair, trying to get Mass Premier on the board, and makes his first free throw.
Santarpio is actually leader in assists for Miss High School, Attleboro High School this year. He's looks like a taller guard, but we saw him nice offensive rebounding, but apparently he's a very good distributor of the basketball as well.
Well, makes both free throws. Part of the game, talking a lot, I know, to some of the other guys that do some of the college games. It is something that is oftentimes neglected by the high school level players. There's another turnover by Middlesex. DeAndre bombs away in bottom of the net. Nice looking shot there by DeAndre. First field goal of the game, but a 5-0 run for Mass Premier has them back within 2.
Well, Mass Premier Elite, they're not used to losing. This year they're 8-1 so far. They've had a successful AU program, and they've qualified for the Nationals before, but they've opted not to attend. And this year, as we mentioned in Open, they have qualified for the AAU Nationals in Orlando, the Division I AAU Nationals, and this is the year that they are going to go. Apparently, they've planned it for years. The parents got together. The organization decided that when these boys reach the 17U level, that's when they will go to the Nationals. And they've worked hard. They've really earned it.
Quinlan was called for the offensive foul. Another turnover. And it's turned to the corner for Lehman. Walked the tightrope on the near sideline. Nice dish underneath. Tapio, bounce pass back out. DeAndre up top. And he'll back it out. Looks to his left. Finds Santapio. He'll drive. Picked up on the double. Has Lehman back up top. And he'll swing it for Walsh. Walsh driving in. Pulls up off the glass. And banks open on Sunday. Tied at 7. 7-0 run for each side, and we're all tied up.
Timothy Walsh, nice take to the basket, like his body control on that pull-up jumper. He's got 682 career points out of Attleboro High School, so they're hoping that he will break the 1,000 point mark as a senior next year.
Great program down there for the Blue Bombers, I believe Attleboro is. As the ball is dished back outside, the three-pointer on the way is short, might have been partially blocked. And Arsenal at the rebound, back for DeAndre. Chance to take the lead for the first time. DeAndre to the corner, Arsenal there. He lets a jumper fly short. Rebound tracked down by Andre Ruff. Ruff brings it quickly into the forecourt and dishes for Jack Carl. Carl traveled, yep, saw him pick up the pivot foot. And he didn't like the call, but it was pretty apparent. Another couple changes as Jake Howell will check in for the Magic, as will Josh Chochin out of Somerville, Massachusetts.
Now, that's one thing I noticed about this boys AU tournament so far. They have 3 referees, and you rarely see that in AU tournaments. Normally you should either see 1 or 2, but obviously this is super regionals. They want to make sure that this game is well officiated, and it's like college-style refereeing.
Three-pointer from the corner from Alex Natoji's good, and it's answered. The other Aiden James, he has 5 of Middlesex's 10, and we're tied at 10. Natoji's 3 had given a quick lead for Mass Premier, but there's a foul off the ball, and I think it was against Santapio. His first, team first, and we're tied at 10. The ball back in the hands of the Magic. To the corner, James drives the baseline, dish underneath, bats around, Howell comes up with it, turns it off to the wing. Carl's jumper on the way, no good. Rebound, DeAndre has Natoji in the corner, and now will back it off and run the half-court offense. Will DeAndre, he'll take it himself from way downtown. Jokin, the rebound. Howell, or rather Carl, to the wing. James, jumper, no good. Rebound underneath, hauled in by Jokin. They'll say it was tied up, and we'll have a jump ball with the score tied at 10. A couple subs checking in and out for Mass Premier.
You see the pace of this game picking up a little bit. Looks like Middlesex Magic really wants to push the ball in transition. They're taking quicker shots now than they have in the first few minutes of this ball game.
That shot's up and good, and it's a 12-10 game again. Mass Premier had a very quick lead. It's a 7-0 open for the Magic, driving the baseline. Quick take into the iron for Timothy Walsh.
Nice take by Tim Walsh. Caught the ball on the baseline, and he read his defender really well. The defender came late to try to intercept the pass, so all it was a quick rip-through, baseline drive into a power move. Nicely executed.
Ball over for Howell. Uses the screen, gets to the free throw line, dishes to Ruff, and Ruff traveled. Calling that one tight today.
They are. I mean, I said that earlier. I mean, it's very rare to see 3 referees at an AAU tournament, and it's very rare to see good officiating at an AAU tournament. And so far, it looks like Mass Premier and the Super Regionals and AAU organization, they've done a very good job of keeping these games at a high level with these good with these good officials.
Natoji for Walsh. He'll drive, dishes back out, has the ball picked off by Carl. Carl underneath, and fouled on his way up was Lincoln Sudbury's Sam Casey. He'll be going to the free throw line for a pair.
And it's the second time in at least, I would say, 2 out of 3 possessions where Middlesex has gotten the defensive rebound, and they've gotten straight to the rim on their fast break, so that they're really looking to get out and run, and Massacre has not gotten back to stop the ball defensively.
Walsh will check out in favor of Arsenault as Casey will attempt his second from the line, and it rattles out. Rebound near side. It's going to be Mass Premier basketball. I think it was last touched by Jake Howell. 13-12. We've had 4 lead changes early in this one. Austin Burlone, I'm sorry, that's Chris Rogers with the basketball for Natoji. Back up, finds Wisniewski, and he traveled as well. Got a lot of turnovers early on. Sometimes it's just, I think the body executing a little bit quicker than the mind.
I think that's the nature of AAU basketball, where a lot of these teams, they don't get to practice a lot. So some of these guys will play 80 to 100 games this spring and this summer. However, in that time period, they're only going to practice once or twice a week. And most of the time, at least the experience I've had with AAU basketball out of Rhode Island, it's very tough to get AAU players to attend a practice in week. I mean, we're looking at an AAU team that encompasses Attleboro, Bishop Fee, King Philip, Walpole, Mansfield, Franklin. Now, while some of these areas are close together, these kids still have to drive a little bit to attend these AAU practices. So AAU right now is turned into low on practice, but high on game volume.
Nice turn underneath by Liatsakos, but couldn't get it to fall. Back the other way comes Mass Premier with Chris Rogers running the point. Looks to his right, feeds it to the corner. Arsenault there, back up top, finds Wisniewski, goes underneath the coat. Natoji keeps it moving to the corner, 3-pointer, rattles in and out. Liatsakos the rebound. Middlesex with the basketball. Sam Casey drives, goes off the glass, and he has 6 points. Lead back to 3 for Middlesex Magic. About halfway through this first half. Ball's in the corner, and blocking the call with that will step aside as well with the score. 15-12, AAU Super Regional from here in Foxborough. Well, welcome back, folks. Great to have you with us inside the Mass Premier Courts in Foxborough, Massachusetts. AAU Super Regional, as the jumper from Rocky DeAndrade is off its mark. Jake Howell the rebound.
Well, it's a nice read by Rocky DeAndrade. He didn't make that 3-point shot, but he came off the down screen and recognized that the defense was cheating, and he just flared to the corner. That's how he got himself open.
DeAndrade dishes, a little bit out of control there was Wisniewski, and it's played back up. Nice ball movement, Liatsakos back over. Casey keeps it moving. Jumper on the way is short from Jack Urquhart. Rebound, Scott Arsenault. He finds DeAndrade, who will slow things down. Been 4 times down the court for Mass Premier without a basket. Austin Burlone moves it over to the corner via DeAndrade. With the basketball is Wisniewski. He comes back for Burlone, and now back over to the corner for Arsenault. Moves it for Kevin Connor. He drives the paint, dishes back out. DeAndrade for 3, in and out, no good. Urquhart the rebound.
Again, Mass Premier Elite, they're getting good shots on the offensive end. They're getting open looks from 3. They just ran a nice set where they had a double staggered screen for a shooter. And you don't see that a lot in AAU. You don't see a lot of, quick hits set up. Mostly it's penetrate and pitch, get to the basket. care to beat your man one-on-one, but this Mass Premier team really distributes the ball well.
Now keep in mind there are some players on this, well first of all Mass Premier with 3 players who play together at Mansfield, another from Franklin, another from King Philip, another from Foxborough. Means they're all in the same league in high school basketball, the Hockomock League, which spans basically Route 95 from the Rhode Island border up a little bit, 495 up to Milford now, and up as far, I believe, as Canton and Sharon, as that ball hits the front iron and bounces away. So players who are familiar with each other beyond the AAU ranks. Ball underneath, nice look, Leostakos, catch, turn, shoot, no good, rebound. DeAndre, he's going 1-on-3, takes it himself, throws it up, no good, but he's going to the line.
That was a nice play by DeAndre. It looks like he really didn't have much going on as he was coming down the court, and then he saw at the last second his ability to split those 2 defenders and kind of cut to the basket to the right. So a nice play by the Mansfield High School starting point guard.
And a bit unlucky in terms of the rim with his first free throw attempt. Still 15-12, it's been stuck on 12 if you're a fan of the Mass Premier side for a while. And the second shot is up and it is good. There's that Andre Ruff driving, tries to get around Walsh, who's back into the game. The take from James, no good, gets his own rebound, nice follow up off the glass and gets it to fall. He has 7, good hustle play there by Aiden James.
No doubt, I mean, you a lot of times see players who go in, they miss a layup, they put their head down, but Aiden James in that possession stayed with it. He was very, very quick jumping, getting to the basketball, used a nice pump fake down low to get the defender off bounds.
James for Leotakos, the take to the baseline, and he's on the board, the lead back to 6. It was 7-0 Middlesex Magic early, and timeout, Mass Premier will take one as well with the score 19-13, first half from Foxborough. Welcome back, folks, inside the Mass Premier courts here in Foxborough, Massachusetts. The Mass Premier Elite side trailing by 6 to the Middlesex Magic. Drive, the take by Connor, dishes back outside, no good. Jochin goes up high for the rebound, brings it down for Aiden James. James, the take, pulls on the brakes, pulls up and gets it to fall. James putting on a clinic here early. He has 9 points, almost half of this output for his Middlesex Magic squad. And it's an 8-point lead, and they're going to draw a turnover. There's a foul off the ball, I believe, against Connor for an illegal screen. It'll be the 3rd team foul against Mass Premier. And a chance to extend what is the largest lead of the game. The game of ebbs and flows. It was a 7-0 run for Middlesex to start the game, then a 7-0, actually a 10-0 run the other way. As that take by Ruff is good. Since that 10-0 run, it is a 16-3 run for the Middlessex Magic, who are on fire.
I think a couple things have happened in that time period. One, Middlesex, they started to rebound the ball better. So they're getting every single defensive rebound. Mass Premier Elite, they're taking 1 shot and they're done. They're also getting called for a couple moving screens, and you just saw a tough turnover way outside. You never want to turn the ball over 20 feet from the basket. You're definitely going to give up a layup with a pass like that.
Leotakos took it and jammed it home. Bent the rim in the process. That was my textbook move.
Was that you back in the day?
The 6-foot plastic rim.
I was wondering where you were going with. But I thought you were a jumper, though.
I was a jumper in high school as a track athlete.
Right.
Yeah, horizontally though. No, I wasn't much for the high jump.
There was no vertical?
No. Oh, well, yeah, there was, just out of a rock.
Was it triple jump or low jump?
I was a triple jumper.
I thought I remember that.
Triple jumper, yeah. Not a bad triple jumper. It was odd because I wasn't much the high jumper, but I figured out the triple jump pretty well.
This is how old I am. When I was in high school in Rhode Island, girls were not allowed to triple jump.
They called the hop, skip, and the jump probably in those days. As I think Middlesex wants timeout, and we're going to take one too with 3:11 left here in this first half. Mass Premier trying to solve their offensive woes. We're back after this. And we're back with the score 25-13 and an 8-0 run. James tried to make it 11 and does. And it is 28-13, and boy, that's a sign the bounces are going your way, huh, Christina?
Absolutely, and that thing hit the rim, probably went up about 1.5 feet, but what I like that Middlesex is doing, they're keeping their offense very simple. All it is a down screen for the wing. The wing catches the basketball coming off that screen, and they allow him to read the defense, and that time Aiden James was open off the catch for the simple three-point shot. And he did get a little rim love on that one. Like bounce, 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 but that's the beauty of having backspin on your shot. That's why coaches spend hours trying to get kids to release the ball the correct way.
Lehman off, Natoji in. Jumper from DeAndre stops the bleeding. Big jumper for him. He has 7. And finally, Mass Premier Elite back on the board. Running the point, Andre Ruff, the Lowell High School product. Backs it off. Throws it underneath, the turn, the pivot, the dish. Casey from outside, can't get it to fall. Grabbing down the rebound, Natoji ahead for DeAndre, he'll run. Good transition defense there by the Middlesex Magic. Jumper from DeAndre, no good. Underneath, trying to track down the rebound was Arsenal, but taking it away was Sam Casey. And the Middlesex Magic will get back to work with inside a couple of minutes left here in this first half. Andre Ruff almost, well, he did lose the basketball. Rogers pushes it ahead. Natoji takes it hard, loses the basketball. Howell pushes it ahead, and here comes Casey. Casey 1-on-2, the dish, and no good on the finish. The punch back by Jake Howell.
I'll tell you, Middlesex Magic, they are very effective in transition. They push the ball up, they make that extra pass.
And speaking of friendly bounces, Timothy Walsh gets one there for his 3-ball side pocket, and lead cut to 11, 30-19. Winner of this one will play in the championship game of the 11th grade tournament. On the floor is Walsh. I think he's going to get called for a foul. It'll be the 4th team foul against Mass Premier Elite. That'll give an opportunity for Middlesex to check Jack Carl back into the game for Sam Casey. Inbounding underneath his own basket was James. It comes out to Carl. Milton Academy product. Good defense. Back to the corner. Now Howell takes the jumper. It's short. Natoji the rebound. Finds Chris Rogers.
You know, Mike, in the second half, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit more pressing. Particularly the Middlesex Magic team looks a little bit more athletic. They might be able to get up, kind of try to press this Mass Premier Elite team a little bit. Push the tempo, get some shots off of their defense. That's one thing. Normally you see a lot more pressing defense in these AAU tournaments, and both of these teams so far have been content to sit back and half-court man-to-man defense.
Kevin Connor is going to check back in for Scott Arsenal. DeAndre is going to be shooting the 1-and-1. It was not a shooting foul. Officials very clear on that. As DeAndre, he took a shot, but it was after the contact. So he's shooting 1-and-1. First shot is up, and he'll get the bonus. A little bit of a run here for Mass Premier. They were down 28-13. Now it's 30-20 with potentially 21. No good. Jochin the rebound. Here's Sam Casey. About 40 seconds left here in the half. Finds Aiden James, put on a scoring clinic. Takes a little runner, no good. Nice rebound underneath, taken away by Connor, and they'll get a foul underneath. I think against Jochin, Josh Jochin, the Somerville, Mass native. I think he's getting the call, and that's going to put Connor on the free throw line. Still shooting 1-and-1. Next one will be the double bonus.
And to your point about narrowing the score, a 10-point game in AAU basketball, that's a really close game. I mean, if you look at this score, 30-20, 17U boys high school game. That's a very low-scoring game, and we've seen Mass Premier in this first half. They missed a lot of open threes that they probably normally make. So I think when you get the three-point line and the fact that they didn't hit a lot of their shots in this first half, I think you might see in the second half this game get a little bit closer.
Magic are likely holding for the last shot with now 10 seconds left. They're not going to get it. That one's thrown away by Ruff. Aiden James would have had to have been about 7-2 to track that one down. The inbounds comes to Rogers, the Franklin Mass product. Gets to the baseline, no good. DeAndre, the rebound, has a couple of seconds, is short. Connor will go up, and he's stripped as the half comes to a close. So halftime of this semifinal game, the Middlesex Magic leading 30-20. We'll step aside. We'll be back with second half action. Middlesex Magic Mass Premier Elite from Foxborough, AAU Super Regionals, and it's here on Cox Sports. Second half, AAU Super Regional, Mass Premier Elite. They're wearing the home whites with the blue numerals, and the Middlesex Magic wearing the road blues and leading by 10. The take by Lehman, tried to dish to Connor, and it's pushed back to DeAndre. He finds Chris Rogers, now over again for Lehman. They'll swing it again. Rogers up top. Lehman looks like he wants to shoot. Pulls back and gets it to DeAndre. Working the basket to our left. Their coach is right in front of their own bench. Walsh had 7 first half points. Looks to make it 10 on the rocket.
Oh.
Gets another friendly bounce. He has the 10, and now just a 7-point game. And, you know, it's a quick half. You know, there's not the time, say, like in a college game, Christina, where you're going in, you're making adjustments. I think you're really, like you said, this is all about game time and making the most of opportunities.
That's exactly what it is. And as I said in the first half, Mass Premier got a lot of good looks from the outside that they didn't convert on, and we see here in their first possession. I mean, that shot by Walsh, I think, hit the side of the rim, but he was able, because he had that good backspin we talked about earlier, the ball was able to roll in. And if they knock down a couple more threes, this game gets close, and once games get close, players start to play a little bit differently, and Middlesex might not be as loose in a closer game.
Oh, nice move on the strip and the take. Aiden James is going to get called for the charge. Nice job getting back by Lehman. Meanwhile, to just go back a second ago, Phil Liatsakos, the BC High product, he's back on the bench because he has now 4 fouls, Christina. And big guy is Liatsakos. We saw him with that great jam on the take as the dish underneath. I think it caught Howell by surprise, and I think he walked. Yep.
To your point about Liatsakos, in the first half, I mean, we don't have the stats here to back it up, but to me it seemed like Middlesex Magic, they dominated the boards. They got every single defensive rebound. They were pretty productive on the offensive rebounds as well. And with Liatsakos on the bench, they're a smaller team, and I think that plays into Mass Premier Elite's hands a little bit.
Quinlan in the paint, tries to take, and is fouled on the way up, I believe, by Kevin Connor. And if it isn't on Connor, it is his second foul. And check that, actually. It's going to go against Jimmy Lehman, the King Philip shooter. And now at the line, missing the first of his pair is Adam Quinlan. He's a Walpole Rebel. This is the first of 2. So Walpole High School in the news this week. Their student council, after the tragic events of Boston on Monday and the ensuing, the aftermath, their student council got together a couple of days ago and made 1,500 blue and yellow ribbons for the entire school to wear over the course of the next week as a show of solidarity. Nice to see students with that kind of get up and go as Tim Walsh buries another 3. He's got 3 3-pointers.
Walsh is also the starting quarterback for his Attleboro High School team.
I believe their head coach, Kevin Deschaines, be happy to see him doing that. I think actually Coach DeShane resigned this year, but had a great career there as Adam Quinlan goes to the glass. So we've seen both teams going a little bit more back and forth here in this as DeAndre, a little quick step over, gets it back to Lehman. Lehman from the free throw line is short, and it's taken back down by Quinlan, who's getting it done both sides of the ball. Rough drives, ran right into, I believe, Santapio. Three-pointer on the way from Aiden James, and James has answered Walsh both ways. He has now 3 threes himself. He has 15 points.
He's a quiet weapon. You don't really notice him. And next thing you know, he always seems to find his spot. And speaking of finding his spot,
Tim Walsh has got himself another 3. Last 4 shots he's hit have been from beyond the arc. He has 16 of the 29 points that Mass Premier Elite has scored. The entry pass for Jokin. He tries to turn, go over Lehman. Nice defense there by Lehman, not fouling. Gets it up to Ruff, and they'll move it around. The reverse over to James. Bombs away, no good. DeAndre comes up with it. Has the runner is Walsh. He's feeling it. Buries another.
Yes, he is. And Tim Walsh does a great job of getting his feet set. He's always on balance. So he's made 4 of his last 4 threes, or 5 of his last 5?
I think 4 of his last 5, yeah. Actually, 5 of his last 6. And it's back to a 5-point game. That ball deflected out of bounds. So quietly here in this second half, Mass Premier Elite has crawled back into this one. They trailed by as many as 16 points. Ball dished to the corner. Ruff. Not really sure if that was the best shot selection. Walsh comes away with it. He'll keep it himself. Bounce pass to the corner, and it'll be brought back by Rogers. Bounces it off of, I want to say, Santapio, and trying to chase it down was Jack Carl and couldn't. It'll remain the possession of the Mass Premier Elite side as Jack Urquhart will check back in for the Magic, replacing Andre Ruff. Walsh the entry pass as Natoji posting up on inside, gets it out for Rogers to the corner. DeAndre thought about driving, pulls up himself and gets it to fall, and we got ourselves a one possession game, 37-34.
That was a great quick move by DeAndre, really efficient. Little crossover into a pull-up, and DeAndre is much more effective when he's shooting the basketball off the dribble rather than off the catch.
Quinlan looks like he might have been fouled by Santapio. Santapio looking like he sat on something sharp. He wasn't too happy about that, as looked like he was moving his feet well, but it will put Quinlan back on the free throw line. The lefty delivers the first free throw. It's off its mark. Quinlan was 3 points in this one, all in the second half, as Phil Liatsakos went out in the first minute or so of the second half with his 4th foul. Second free throw from Quinlan is up, and it back irons, fortunately for the Magic, to the hands of Jochin, and he'll reset it back out for Carl. To the corner, and now back out for Urquhart. Looks to drive, back to the side for Quinlan. Baseline jumper is no good. Rebound, DeAndre. He'll run it up court, running the point for Mass Premier Elite. Pushes it back out for Walsh. Why not? That one's short. Jochin with the rebound, and it'll be slowed up here by Aiden James. James gets up top, picked up by DeAndre, dishes back over for Urquhart, finds Quinlan in the paint, up and over Santapio, rebound, Alex Natoji.
A nice couple possessions of defense by Mass Premier Elite. They've managed to hold the Magic to 1 shot and done. And I think this point guard, Rocky DeAndre, I think he's got an advantage offensively. He can get to the rim anytime he wants. He's being very unselfish with the basketball.
Tough pass by Natoji, who actually limps to the bench. He's going to be, he's holding his right knee, so he'll be replaced by Kyle Wisniewski. Natoji, one of the players on this squad who's not from the Hockomock League, plays in the TVL at Medway High School, of which I'm quite familiar. Ball on the ground, good defense there as I think Jack Carl rolled his ankle. Back the other way, the jumper taken in, or the layup taken in by Arsenal, and Carl holding his left ankle. Looked like when he crossed back from his right to his left, he got hobbled up. So we'll take a timeout with 9:47 in a one-point game, second half action from Foxborough. And we'll welcome you back with the score 37-36. About 9.5 to play here. Ball played underneath, Urquhart. Picked up by Rogers, nice turn. And keeps this a three-point game. You know, Christina, in games like this, you know, if you're a coach watching this at the collegiate level, I think you're watching as how teams do, in fact, respond to playing in a tight one down the stretch. I mean, again, there's no, both of these teams know they're moving on. Yes, they want to win a trophy, but I think the tension of wins and losses is a little different at these tournaments, perhaps, than it would be in a postseason tournament in high school or college, for example.
I think they're vastly different. A lot of people have the, you know, AAU is supposed to be about producing better players, exposing players to better talent. You know, playing year-round basketball is about getting better. It's not about winning games. And you know, some AAU programs are out there and they count their wins and their losses, and that's important to them. And then there are other AAU programs out there who are more interested in developing the individual player, getting kids better, exposing them to better coaches, better competition. And I think it's important for high school players, if they want to play at the collegiate level, they not only have to understand what that means, they have to play for better coaches in the off season, because in theory, AAU coaches are supposed to be better than high school coaches. It's supposed to be a higher level. That's not necessarily how its AAU has turned out. But as you said, there's a distinct difference between high school basketball and AAU basketball, particularly when you're looking at wins and losses.
There's a foul on an illegal. There's some pushing and shoving, and boy, they're going to get DeAndre way back. I think he was fouled on his way down the court. So an opportunity, though, for Mass Premier Elite to potentially tie, or at least keep this a one-point game. It was a 10-point game at the half, 30-20. Mass Premier has outscored the Middlesex Magic 16-9, thus here in the second half. How's that for quick math? Not bad for an English major.
Well, you went to Brown.
Well, you know.
I have high expectations.
Boy, I fooled another one. Here comes, I was no math student. I think I might have taken my one. No, I didn't take math pass-fail. You could take it all pass-fail, as you know.
I do know that. Well, Coach, that was one of my big style points when I was an assistant at Brown. Anytime I call a high school kid, I'm like, you can take whatever you want.
Take whatever you want and take it all pass-fail.
I'd always ask, I say, what do you like? And they tell me, I say, what do you dislike? And you never have to take another math again if you don't want to. They'd be like, okay.
I took 2 math classes. I took them both for a grade, for better or for worse. So I got A's in both of them. I should besmirch myself. DeAndre, the take. Still trying to make this a one-point game. Nice hustle play there by Wisniewski. Finds his high school teammate DeAndre, and another second chance here. A nice dish for Connor, and one!
Beautiful play by DeAndre. And what he did, he was able to establish, he created space from his defender, and once that defender closed that gap, he got right to the heart of the paint, drew another defender, wraparound pass to his teammate on the left block, and that's just good basketball right there.
Connor getting his own rebound, but might have come over the back of Liatsakos. And keep in mind, Liatsakos is playing with the 4 fouls. It's 7.5, well, halfway through this second half, 39-38. So it essentially has become anyone's ball game.
You know, I like the fact that Liatsakos is in the game. This is an AAU basketball game. He shouldn't be on the bench. He's got talent. Granted, he did just shuffle his feet, but he's a talented player. He's tall. Okay, Mass Premier Elite doesn't have a lot of inside guys. And as I said earlier, it's about getting exposure to college coaches, getting more experience on the court, and there's no reason in an AAU game why you need to sit a guy down with 4 fouls on the bench.
Well, DeAndre's going to take a seat, and I think they're saving maybe get him some fresh legs for the stretch run. As Wisniewski plays it for Rogers. He drives, goes up off the glass, and they've come all the way back. It is just the third lead change of the game. It was at one point a 16-point lead, and now the Mass Premier Elite side is up by one. Ball's trapped, and Coach Giordano, he wants timeout. We'll take one too with 6:46 left here in the second half. 40-39. We've got ourselves a ball game, folks. We're back after this. Welcome back, folks, inside of the Mass Premier Courts of Foxborough, Massachusetts. Coach Giordano wanted something executed there. They came out of the huddle, didn't do it. He threw his water bottle. He wasn't too happy as the take from Andre Ruff gets them back in the lead, another lead change, but you gotta love when coaches are coaching them up. They, I mean, we know we've talked about how this is really about exposure, but coaches still want players to execute.
Absolutely. There's nothing more frustrating than making it very clear what you expect from your players out of a timeout, and then they just don't do it. I mean, I've thrown multiple water bottles, clipboards, pens, broken a lot of dry erase markers in my career as a high school coach. It does make you feel better for about half a second.
Yeah.
And then you feel like a jerk.
One of the finer moments of my coaching career was when a group of my athletes gathered the pieces of a broken clipboard, taped it up, and gave it to me the next day with some messages on the tape, like it was casted together.
That's excellent. Did it make you think twice the next time you wanted to throw a clipboard?
Oh yeah, because I couldn't break the tape. DeAndre drives, little scoop, and gets it to fall.
Oh my! Now, I'm not sure if that was an intentional shot. I think he got caught up in the air with the intention of passing it, and then when he realized he didn't have a teammate open, he just kind of scooped it up, put it up nice and soft, a nice arc on that underhanded shot.
5 lead changes in this one. 42-41. DeAndre has 12. Ruff the take. No foul as it comes out for Jojen. His shot no good, and there's a foul underneath. As I think it's against DeAndre actually. There's a reason why he was that open.
Exactly. I mean, I think in general, these players in Mass Premier Elite do a good job of boxing out. They're undersized against this Magic team, but that time DeAndre just got a little bit too low, a little bit of a shove in the lower back to clear out his defender in order to grab that rebound.
Sam Casey has the basketball. Nice coverage there out of the corner by DeAndre. Loops it back up. James, the jumper, no good. Oh, and that's a big foul by Liatsakos, and that's 5. He knew it as soon as he went up and put a lot of contact on Rogers, and thus his day is over. At least in this one, he's not too happy with himself either.
A nice job by Rogers, boxing out a bigger guy, and Chris Rogers is basketball royalty, or so I'm told. He's the grandson of former Celtic coach Jimmy Rogers. So he should know, he should be boxing out. A lot of expectation when you're related to someone who has had a lot of basketball success.
Well, Jimmy Rogers was an assistant coach in the era of Casey Jones. When Casey Jones was the head coach, you know, somebody who's been very, very active. Casey Jones has been in the basketball community here in New England for now the better part of a half century, both on the men and the women's side actually. And Jimmy Rogers was also the head coach following Casey's departure from Boston. You can only imagine what the huddle was like when you looked out and you saw DJ, Larry, and Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Reggie Lewis, a young Reggie Lewis. I've never had the luxury of coaching guys quite like that. You?
Not so much, no.
That's no disrespect to anybody that you've coached, though.
No, I mean, I don't think, not a lot of coaches have had the luxury of.
No. The drive by Rogers, the take, and off the glass and in. And it's now a 2-point game. Leads changed hands 5 or 6 times unofficially. DeAndre Marking up Sam Casey, who comes back to Andre Ruff. Bounce pass finds James, who takes it out of traffic. Back over for Casey, and 3-ball from the corner is good. And the lead changes hands yet again.
Sam Casey, he had a defender right in his face. Tim Walsh was right there, but he caught the ball and got it right into his shooting pocket.
Walsh from downtown again, and he has had himself a day, folks. That is his 6th three-pointer. He has 22 points. Andre Ruff's going to be called for the carry, I believe. And another turnover. Give an opportunity for Mass Premier. Their largest lead in this game was 3 points. That was 10-7. Following that, they suffered a difficult 22-3 run that saw them down 16 at one point. And here we go, 48-46, trying to extend the lead. Nice bounce pass for Connor. Finds Lehman outside, and the 3-ball is good. Lehman's first points of the game, and the lead is now 5. Mass Premier was down 10 at the half. They've had themselves quite the half here.
It makes a big difference when you make your outside shots. Huge difference.
Timeout for Chris Giordano and the Magic, so we'll take one too. 51-46 as we head to crunch time, 3:12 to play. Coach Chris Giordano of the Middlesex Magic, his side, down 5 as we head into the waning 3 minutes of this second half. Semi-final game of the 11th graders, and backing in was Adam Quinlan, and maybe a nice job there selling the foul, but offensive is the call. Mass Premier is going to take over with the lead and up 5.
Well, Jimmy Lehman did a good job of moving his feet, and there may have been a little theatrics involved, but he beat Quinlan to the spot, and Quinlan's a bigger, more rugged guy, and once he felt a little bit of contact, Lehman just fell down. And with 3 referees, it's hard not to make that call. 1 out of 3 of them is definitely going to make it.
Lehman will switch it around for DeAndrade. Throws it underneath, tough pass, found Rogers, who just couldn't get the connection to fall.
That's a great cut by Rogers. You never see kids move without the ball like that. He just went backdoor on the weak side. Smart play.
Speaking of, Walsh, the rebound, could have broken up court, decide to dish back, and DeAndrade the take. He's having himself a day. He now has 14 points, and the lead, largest of the day, is 7 for Mass Premier. Had a terrific second half. 3-pointer on the way, no good. Rebound underneath Quinlan. Battles with Connor, and Quinlan not too happy. Gets back up, and alternating arrow, is the possession is going to remain Middlesex possession here.
He went down hard on that one knee.
Trying to inbound and wipe the sweat off the floor. It looks like it's going to be James to inbound. Nope, they're still waiting on the substitution. Wisniewski's going to check in for Lehman. Plays it for Quinlan, and now back to the corner. James is short. Rebound, Wisniewski, and he'll play it for Chris Rogers. Rogers had a terrific second half. And you could pretty much say that about anybody on Mass Premier. From the corner, Walsh, whose 3 balls have really been the impetus of this comeback. His play and DeAndrade's 3-pointer on the way, high off the glass from Ruff. And Walsh again the rebound, brings it down to DeAndrade.
Yeah, you're right about that. Tim Walsh is the one who started this whole offensive play off in the second half, and he drained 3 or 4 3-pointers in a row in the first 5 to 7 minutes of this game. And
speaking of, 3-ball from the corner from Ruff is good, and the lead is cut to 4 with 76 ticks of the clock remaining here in the second half. And you know, Christina, this is where we talk a lot about, you know, using your fouls. You got to hit your free throws, and there's a reason why some of these statements become cliches in the sport of basketball.
It's really true, but I mean, I don't know if they do this in AAU basketball. I know they do it at the college level, and we try to do it at the high school level as much as possible as coaches. But you spend a little bit of every practice every single day on end of game situations, because more times than not in a close game, the team that has gone over these situations in practice will be able to handle the pressure of the situations better. Now it's a 4-point game. Obviously, as you said, you want to make free throws. You want to play without fouling. You want to be aware of how many fouls people have, how many team fouls you have. But I think most importantly, offensively, you don't want to turn the ball over because you're not sure of what you're supposed to be doing. And here, with no shot clock, anything can really happen.
Middlesex is going to come out and press. No surprise there. The inbounds comes to Walsh. Tight coverage from Ruff. He splits a couple of defenders and brings it out of traffic. And there's the foul call. It is going to be Jack Carl. Good to see him back on the court. He went out kind of gimpy. It looked like he'd rolled an ankle, but he still seems a little slow, but has a lot of fouls to give. Just his second. Quinlan will check back in, as will Casey for Jochen and Carl. Yeah, Carl's still feeling it. As going to the free throw line is DeAndre. Buries the first. He's had a great game, has DeAndre. 3 of 5 from the line. And 15 total points. Potentially 16 on the way there, and makes it.
DeAndre's had some fantastic takes to the basket in the second half. We didn't see a lot of that out of him in the first half, but he can really get to the rim.
All but 17 of Mass Premier's Mass Premier Elite's points have come from DeAndre and Walsh. 22 for Walsh, and now 16 for DeAndre, 17 for the rest of their team. 5 of those are Chris Rogers.
Well, they said in advance of this game, when I got a chance to talk to Mass Premier Elite a little bit, they said that they were a team without any stars.
That's not a smart foul there by Lehman. That's going to give Quinlan a chance for 3 the old-fashioned way, and a chance again. That's going to, he hits this free throw, and it's a 3-point game.
Exactly.
Not a good foul. And that's exactly what Coach Vaughn's. You got the hands outstretched, going, "Come on, you're killing me."
Anytime the palms go up, you know the coach is just saying, "Tell me why. Explain to me why."
I've been to some coaching clinics, and they actually have workshops on that.
On hand, body language.
Yeah, appropriate ways to say to players, "What are you doing?" Mike Riley was not a guest speaker at that, I tell you that much.
No, he probably wasn't.
Oh, no. Too soon? No.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. 4-point game. DeAndre's going back to the free throw line. The 4-point game. As Quinlan missed that free throw, it's part of his game he's going to want back. He's just 1 of 4 from the line today. Meanwhile, DeAndre knocks another one down. Got to make those free throws. And sometimes it's a lost art in the high school level. Again, all of these players are at the high school levels. That free throw is up, and again, DeAndre has made 4 in a row here. Now a 6-point game, and we'll take a timeout with 43.7 ticks left on the clock. 57-51. We're back after this. 43.7 seconds remain as we come down the stretch. 57-51. Middlesex with the basketball for Sam Casey. Bombs away, short. Rebound, Jake Howell. He finds Ruff. Ruff wants to shoot, good defense. Good screen there by Quinlan, but a better switch. Ball comes to Casey, no good. Rebound, brought down. I want to say that's Wisniewski, and that ball was out of bounds right in front of us here. With 14 seconds left, Middlesex might be running out of magic in this one. They're going to need a miracle at this point, although we've seen stranger things happen.
Yes, we have, and I think they're going to continue to foul.
Oh, Walsh took one across the smush there.
Some of the fans are looking for a foul. Walsh obviously disagreed, and he's going to head to the free throw line. And you know, if I am the Magic, Tim Walsh might be the last guy I want at the free throw line right now. If he shoots his free throws like he shoots his three-pointers.
We're going to find out. He makes the first. These are his first 2 attempts from the free throw line. Chance to make this a chance to make this an 8-point game with this second free throw, and he does. Tim Walsh, the Attleboro High School star. Jumper on the way from James is no good. Ball bats away. Thrown up by Howell at the horn, and that'll do it. Terrific second half comeback by Mass Premier Elite, and they will advance to the championship game of this 11th grade Super Regional here in Foxborough with our final score 59-51. They'll shake up as they'll head through the line with the final score again 59-51. Christina, you know, as we look at the half, it was a 30-20 lead. You mentioned that Middlesex was hitting their Mass Premier wasn't hitting their open shots in the first half. They started to hit those shots, but I think really the game was won and lost truthfully on the glass. I mean, the rebounding advantage that Middlesex had in that first half wasn't really there. You couple that with some timely scoring and maybe some opposite effects from the field, and that's how one team's able to pull away with such an impressive second half performance.
Right, I think outside shooting affects the rebounding as well, because once you hit some outside shots, you spread the court out. Now you get defenders, they have to guard on the perimeter. They're not in the paint. They can't box out quite as well, and I also think that Mass Premier Elite in the second half did a much better job of boxing out the bigger guys on the inside for the Magic, and that's why they came out with the win in the end.
Well, and you have a guy like Timothy Walsh and Rocky DeAndre really became a two-headed monster in that second half. It didn't seem like the Middlesex Magic could find a solution for either one of them. They were hitting their shots for one, and I think everybody else just kind of fed off of that execution.
Well, before the game, the team itself, the players themselves said that they like to play together. They pass the basketball. There are no stars. So I think when we see this team play again today, we're going to see a similar team, and probably other kids are going to step up and score in double figures.
It was a back-and-forth game and had 7 lead changes at one point, but Mass Premier Elite pulls away. They improved to 9-1. They will play in the championship of the 11th grade division here in this Super Regional. With that, we will step aside for Christina Battistini and our entire Cox Sports crew. I'm Mike Rubin saying so long from Foxborough.